Yo, what is going on, my YouTube people? 29 United back here with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a topic that I don't necessarily want to get into too much, but I now feel obliged to. I'm going to be talking about what's going on with Kai Havertz, what's next for Kai Havertz. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of him, and I've been following his career for quite some time. We're going to be talking about his time at Chelsea, what's next for him in the future. But before we do all that, if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to smash that subscribe button. I'm very, very close to 3,000 subscribers. Follow my Twitter, follow my Discord, my Instagram, my TikTok. All those links will be down in the description. If we can smash 20 likes on today's video, that would mean a lot to me, so smash that like button, guys. So to start with, Kai Havertz at Chelsea is a very, very weird topic to talk about, considering Chelsea have spent so much money on him and he hasn't necessarily paid it off. Now you can argue, he's obviously scored that goal in Porto, that final goal against Manchester City that won Chelsea their second ever UEFA Champions League, but when it comes to league-wise or the other competitions, he hasn't been necessarily that great. So what is really going on with him? Is it his fault? Is it the manager's fault? To be honest, the last time I made a video like this was around a year ago. It was at a time where I told you guys that we still need to wait on him to adapt. It's been over a year now and there hasn't been significant improvements. And it's just sad to say because he's really a player that has a lot of potential. He's very promising, but he hasn't just really been able to show what he's really capable of. And most of it all is he's had those few games that really did show what he's made of in terms of his dribbling, his shooting, his passing, his everything, really. It's a player that you've got to kind of feel bad for. And he's getting a lot of criticism, well deserved. I'm a huge Havertz fan, but I'm not going to step back down and disagree with everyone that says he's been not good, because he hasn't been good. That's the reality of it. Havertz has not been great for Chelsea. I'm not going to stand here just because I like him and say that he's been amazing, because he's definitely not. Now, what I will say is it's not entirely his fault. Granted, Chelsea have gone through a lot of transitioning processes. They've just gone through one now with Graham Potter, and so far, Havertz hasn't done anything in that first game against Salzburg. He wasn't terrible, but again, just wasn't really the best. Lampard, he played a lot of positions, even as far as playing as a CDM. Thomas Tuchel, he went up from his cam position and pretty much moved on to the striker position, where he pretty much found his consistent role. And as a striker, at Leverkusen, he did play a few games up at striker and he was actually very decent. When you come to the Premier League, it's a whole lot of different games. In the Prem, as a striker, he just hasn't been that great, and his stats show for it. If you look at Kai Havertz's stats in general, it's just unfortunately looks very, very dire. It does not look good on him whatsoever, and it really does pain me to say, because I was really excited for him to join Chelsea. Now, I'm a Bayern Munich fan. Obviously, I would have loved for him to go to Bayern, but he went to Chelsea, and I told myself, I have to accept it. And I started watching Chelsea more regularly, and I learned a lot of things that I didn't know about Chelsea and the team and the players and all that. But most importantly with Havertz, it's really scary to see that a player can go from being that good in a league to not being that great in another. Now, obviously, I'm not saying he's a terrible player and it's over, he should retire. Definitely not. But if you had to give me an opinion, if you give me a chance to speak about this, I would definitely 100% say I think his time is up at Chelsea. I don't think he's useful for Chelsea anymore. I know he's very young. I understand that. But it's been 3 years that he hasn't really been the best. And when you spend that much money for a player like him and he doesn't do anything in that amount of time, it's going to be very hard for fans and the team itself to just accept that. I feel like his time is up at Chelsea. I feel like he needs to go somewhere else. Not necessarily the Bundesliga, maybe La Liga. There's a lot of Barcelona and Real Madrid fans who are still in it for him. I've seen a lot on social media. I don't know how realistic that's ever going to be. I don't think he's ever going to join those two clubs, especially not after what he's been doing at Chelsea. But I think he has a far better chance at coming back to the Bundesliga, whether it's with Leverkusen, a struggling Leverkusen, or maybe even Bayern Munich themselves. Bayern Munich were actually looking at his situation with Kai Havertz's agency, and apparently Bayern will look into his situation next season. Now, I would love that. I would love for Kai Havertz to join Bayern Munich. I don't know if it's going to happen. Is he going to stay again at Chelsea? Is he going to pull off a Werner, go back to the Bundesliga? That's all things that nobody knows. But one thing is sure, and it's that I don't think Chelsea fans should 100% give up on him. But I definitely do think that the point has been made with Havertz at Chelsea. And it's just, we need to accept it. If you're a Havertz fan or not, that he hasn't been great at Chelsea, and it's really unfortunate. Although, granted, internationally, he was amazing. In the Euros, he was really good. In the Nations League, he was really good. And again, granted, that is because he's under different management and he's playing with other players and under Hansi Flick. And Hansi Flick is a very, very big fan of him. He actually wanted Havertz back when he was coaching Bayern Munich, and that never happened. But Hansi Flick definitely knows how to use Havertz, whereas a coach like Lampard, Thomas Tuchel, and possibly Graham Potter might not. So, what is the big answer? What is the real future of Kai Havertz? In reality, there's not a definite answer. But in imaginary form, it's a move away from Chelsea, like I said, to La Liga and Bundesliga. That's probably the two leagues where I see him succeed. Not so much in the City. I don't feel like that would be a good league for him. And the Prem, we've just seen with Chelsea, I don't think it's going to happen. If it's going to happen with any other Prem team, I just don't see it happen. As someone who's watched him play for the past few years, I know what he's capable of, and it's not what he's showing at Chelsea. He's a much better player than that. The big part is he needs to show it. Is he going to get selected for the World Cup? Probably. Like I said, Hansi Flick is a very, very big fan of him, and he's going to have to show it in the World Cup. If he has a very good World Cup that can give him much coverage all over Europe and maybe big teams, again, Bayern, Real Madrid, Barca, whoever is in form. And now the big question here is, are those clubs gonna spend as much as Chelsea did? Probably not. His market value has dropped significantly, and let's say a team like Bayern would pick him up. I don't think it would be more than 40, max 50 million, maybe even less. But for a team like Barca, Real Madrid, or especially Real Madrid that have the money, it would probably be a little higher. For those three teams are the teams that I think would be in for Havertz if given an opportunity. I don't know about others. Leverkusen is another one. Leipzig might be another team. I'm not too sure. Maybe he'd go back joining Werner at Leipzig. I do not know. What I can say is I think the best bet for him is to go back to the Bundesliga, do this again, pick up form. The World Cup is coming, and he needs to be on form for the World Cup. And I really do hope he does perform well at the World Cup. He's in a tough group. There's Spain in that group, Japan, Costa Rica as well. If he does well against all three teams, especially Spain, a game where everyone is going to look at, I think he can get some of his coverage back. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Kai Havertz still has what it takes at Chelsea? Do you guys think he needs to move from Chelsea? What do you guys think? Let me know on Twitter or here in the comment section down below. I'll be very, very glad to speak to you guys about this. That's pretty much the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed this video, like I said, please make sure to smash that like button, 20 likes, subscribe, join all my socials, Discord, TikTok, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Damn, I'm on red alert. Now she went up in the dirt.